What if I told you that money doesn't decide? It doesn't choose who to bless and who to ignore. It doesn't weigh your effort, your background, or your luck. It only obeys. And there's a command so sharp, so final, that the moment it leaves your lips, large sums of money have no choice, no delays, no resistance, no negotiation. They move. Now here's the part no one ever told you. You've been speaking commands your entire life. Every casual word, every complaint, every sigh has been shaping your bank account. When you said, "I never get ahead," money agreed. When you muttered, "It's always gone before I can enjoy it," money obeyed. And the scary part is, when you spoke even a fragment of certainty, even by accident, money still responded. Literally. And in the next minutes, I'm going to hand you the exact command. One line that will sound almost too simple, but the moment you speak it with authority, reality won't argue. Large sums of money will obey. But before I give it to you, I need you to sit with one truth. Every fortune in history began with a voice. Not a hope, not a prayer. A voice that spoke with so much certainty that the world itself bent to it. And now it's your turn. Stay with me. Because by the time we reach the command, you'll feel it in your body. And you'll understand why money has no choice. Think about a storm. You don't negotiate with it. You don't ask it to pause. When the thunder rolls and the lightning strikes, the sky obeys laws bigger than you. That's what your voice is. When spoken with authority, it isn't a request. It's a storm. And money, like everything else, has no choice but to move. Most people don't realize this. They think money is free, random, drifting through chance. But money isn't free. It's obedient. And it has been obeying you all along. Every time you sighed, "It's too hard." Every time you whispered, "It always runs out." Money wasn't ignoring you. It was following orders. Now imagine this. An army stands in silence, thousands of soldiers waiting. They don't move until the commander speaks. But the moment the command is given, the entire force shifts at once. That's how money behaves. It's not waiting for your effort, it's waiting for your voice, the command. And the moment you speak with certainty, large sums of money move. This is why Neville Goddard's words are so terrifyingly true. Your word is law. Not as poetry, not as a metaphor. Law. The kind of law storms obey. The kind of law armies obey. The kind of law reality itself cannot resist. Now think about a magnet. You don't see its pull. You don't understand why it works. But the moment metal enters its field, it moves. It has no choice. That's what your voice does to money. It pulls. It commands. It bends reality instantly. And the moment you discover the exact command, the words that carry pure authority, you'll feel it. Like a switch flipping. Like a storm breaking open. Like the vault finally unlocking. But here's the catch. Most people never speak with authority. They beg. They hope. They mutter doubts under their breath. And money, obedient as always, listens. That's why they struggle. Not because the law isn't working, but because they've been using the wrong words. But you're different. You stayed here. You're listening. And that means you're ready to speak in a way money can't resist. So in the next segment, I'm going to bring you right to the edge of the command. The exact words that don't beg, don't hope, don't delay. They declare. And once declared, large sums of money have no choice. Stay with me, because when you hear it, you'll never forget it. If you can already feel it, that money has been listening to you all along, then subscribe now. Because in just a few minutes, I'll hand you the exact command that flips everything. Have you ever dropped something heavy? No hesitation, no delay. Gravity takes it instantly. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't make you repeat yourself. It simply obeys the law. That's exactly how money responds to authority. Not to struggle, not to hope. To law. And your voice, when spoken with certainty, is law. Think about your heartbeat. Right now, without you controlling it, your chest rises and falls. The rhythm pulses on. And if you've ever felt your pulse in your wrist, you know, it doesn't stop just because you're not watching. That's what happens when you speak authority. It doesn't vanish after the sound leaves your lips. It pulses. It echoes through reality, carrying the command forward until it completes itself. Now imagine standing at the edge of a canyon. You shout once. The sound doesn't vanish. It returns. Again. And again. Layered, multiplied, impossible to silence. That's how commands work. One word, spoken with authority, keeps moving through reality, like an echo. It bends everything in its path until it comes back multiplied. Most people waste this. They whisper doubts, they repeat lack, and those sounds echo back multiplied. Struggle, bills, disappointment. Not because life hates them, but because life is too obedient. Neville Goddard said, "Your inner speech mirrors itself on the outside." Notice, he didn't say, "sometimes." He didn't say, "when it feels like it." He said, "it mirrors," as in, it must. That's what makes this truth both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying, because every careless word you've ever spoken has already echoed. Liberating, because the moment you choose differently, the entire current shifts. Think about an earthquake. It starts with one unseen movement deep underground, but by the time it reaches the surface, buildings shake, glass shatters, the ground itself bends. That's what happens when you speak authority. You may not see the shift at first, but reality beneath the surface is already rearranging. And when it finally reaches you, it feels unstoppable. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They think wealth is random. That luck decides who gets ahead. That effort guarantees reward. But that's like thinking gravity only works for some people. It doesn't. It works for anyone who knows how to use it. And your voice, when spoken with authority, is the same. It isn't selective. It doesn't discriminate. It obeys. Every time. This is why fortunes are created by people who seem lucky. It's not luck. It's law. They spoke differently. They carried themselves differently. And reality bent differently. So here's the question. How do you want to use your voice? Because whether you realize it or not, you've been commanding all along. The only difference is whether your commands have been creating wealth or repelling it. And in just a moment, you'll hear the one line, the command, that forces large sums of money to obey instantly. But you're not ready to hear it yet. Not until you grasp the full weight of what it means. Because once you hear it, there's no going back. Every word you speak after that moment will feel different, heavier, more real, and you'll finally understand. Money has no choice. So, stay with me, because we're about to step closer to the edge, closer to the law itself, closer to the moment where wealth bends and moves at the sound of your voice. And when it does, you'll know you were never waiting for money. Money was always waiting for you. You felt the pressure building, the bow pulled tight, the fuse burning. In the next minute, I'll give you the command itself. If you're ready to hear it, hit subscribe now, so this moment becomes a marker in your life, not just another video. Have you ever stood near a volcano? The ground rumbles. The air smells of smoke. You can feel heat rising from the earth before anything is visible. That's where you are right now, moments before eruption. The air around you is already shifting because what's about to be spoken will move everything. Think about a bow pulled tight. The string trembles. The arrow hasn't flown yet, but all the power is already there, stored, waiting. That's where we stand, at full tension, the moment just before release. Because once the command leaves your lips, it can't be taken back. It will move, it will strike, and money will have no choice. Now picture a fuse burning slowly, a single spark crawling down the line toward an explosion. You know what's coming, you can't stop it. You can only wait for the inevitable. That's what this moment feels like. The fuse is lit. The spark is traveling. And in the next segment, it ignites. Here's why this is so important. Your whole life has been shaped by words. Not luck. Not effort. Not chance. Words. And most of those words were spoken carelessly. I'm always behind. It's too hard. I'll never make it. Each one a spark. Each one a fuse that burned back into your reality. And reality, obedient as ever, exploded with exactly what you said. Neville Goddard once wrote, "You are already that which you want to be." What he meant was this: the moment you declare with authority, reality aligns. Like stars locking into place, like planets pulled into orbit, like an arrow finally leaving the bowstring. Once spoken, the law is triggered, and nothing can resist. But here's why the command you're about to hear is different. Most words bounce, they scatter, they vanish in the noise of the world. But this one cuts. It doesn't scatter. It slices straight through reality, like lightning through the sky. And once it strikes, money cannot delay. It cannot argue. It obeys. I want you to feel the weight of this before we go further. Imagine standing at the edge of an eclipse. The light bends. The shadows stretch. The air goes still. It feels unearthly, as if time itself is pausing. That's the feeling of authority before it's spoken. Everything waits. Everything leans toward your voice. That's where you are, right now, at the pause before eruption. And here's the truth. Once you cross this line, you can't go back. Because once you hear the command, you'll never unhear it. You'll notice your voice differently. You'll notice how every phrase echoes back into your life. You'll notice the obedience of reality in every direction. And that awareness changes everything. So stay with me. Don't move. Don't skip. Because in the next segment, the string releases. The volcano erupts. The command is spoken. And once you hear it, you'll know why money has no choice. Up until now, everything has been building. The volcano trembling. The bow pulled tight. The fuse crawling toward its spark. And the truth is, money has been waiting for this very moment. It's been listening to you all your life. Every sigh. Every phrase. Every complaint. I can't keep it. It obeyed. It's always hard. It listened. It never lasts. It followed. Not because money is cruel, not because life is unfair, but because money is obedient. And today, you're about to give it the command it was designed to follow. Not a weak plea, not a scattered affirmation. The code, the line that shifts everything. Here it is. Money obeys my call. Say it once. Not as a question, not as a test, as authority. Money obeys my call. Do you feel it? The pressure in the air? That shiver in your chest? That isn't imagination. That's reality shifting at the weight of your voice. Because this isn't another line you repeat until you're tired. This is a law. The same law that pulls the tide back to shore. The same law that makes the earth shake when pressure releases. The same law that bends iron under heat. When you speak, money doesn't argue. It doesn't delay. It obeys. Picture an army standing at attention. Thousands of soldiers, silent, unmoving. But the moment the commander speaks, the entire force shifts together as one. That's what happens when you declare, "Money obeys my call." It doesn't creep. It doesn't hesitate. It moves. Say it again, slower this time. Money obeys my call. Do you feel the weight settling deeper this time? The first time, it felt like trying it on. The second time, it feels like it belongs to you. Because it does. From this moment on, this isn't a trick. It's not a phrase you try. It's your identity. You're no longer the one who waits. You're no longer the one who begs. You're the one money obeys. And when you live from that awareness, everything begins to change. Not slowly, not someday. Now stay with me, because in the next minute, I'll show you how to carry this command into your daily life. Until every moment, every decision, every step is anchored in the truth. You just spoke it. Money obeys my call. If that sent a chill through your body, subscribe right now, because this is only the beginning. The next videos will take you even deeper into living this law. You've spoken it. Money obeys my call. But now comes the most important part. Living as though it's always true, because this isn't just a phrase. It's a crown. It's an identity. And once you wear it, you move through life differently. Think about gravity. You don't wake up and test it every morning to make sure it's still working. You don't drop a cup just to see if it falls. You trust it without thinking. That's how you begin to live with this command. Not as a test, not as an experiment, but as something certain, something inevitable. Money obeys your call, the same way gravity pulls. Here's how this changes everything. A bill arrives. The old self panics. The old self mutters, "I don't know how to cover this." But not you. You look at it calmly. You breathe. And you declare, "Money obeys my call." And suddenly, instead of fear, there's authority. You see something you want. A trip, a home, a new experience. The old self whispers, "Maybe one day." But not you. You feel the weight of the crown on your head and you say, "Money obeys my call." And the gap between desire and reality collapses. An unexpected setback appears. The old self groans, "Here we go again." But not you. You remind yourself, "Money obeys my call." And as you stand in that authority, doors you didn't see before begin to open. This is the shift. It's not about repeating a line endlessly. It's about walking in the awareness that when you speak, reality responds. Neville Goddard called it, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That's exactly what this is. When you say, "Money obeys my call," you don't wait to see if it's true. You assume it. You walk as though it's already law, because it is. Think of a magnet. It doesn't force itself to pull. It doesn't struggle or chase. It simply is. And everything in its field has no choice but to respond. That's the identity you carry now. Not chasing, not begging, just magnetic, just commanding, just certain. And here's the part most people will never understand. The less you check, the faster it happens. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every morning to see if it's sprouting. You water it. You trust the process. You let the law of nature do its work. This command works the same way. Say it once with authority. Live as though it's already unfolding, and watch how reality rushes to prove it true. And don't underestimate how much your presence shifts when you carry this law. When you walk into a room with the awareness of "Money obeys my call," people feel it. They may not know why, but they're drawn to you. They want to help, to connect, to offer opportunities. Because authority is magnetic. Certainty bends reality, and wealth follows those who carry it. This is why you can't go back. The self that spoke carelessly, muttered doubt, and whispered lack is gone. Because now you know the truth. Money was never ignoring you. It was always obeying you. The only difference was the words you used, and now you've changed them. Money obeys my call. By now, you know this isn't motivation. This is transformation. If you're ready to walk every day in the identity of the one money obeys, subscribe now. Because each new video will build the next level of your authority. So, carry it into your day, not as something to repeat 100 times, but as the way you breathe, as the rhythm you walk with. Bills, authority, opportunities, authority, delays, authority. Because when you speak, wealth answers. Not sometimes, not if it feels like it. Always. And the longer you live inside this truth, the more undeniable it becomes. At first, it will appear in small ways: discounts, refunds, unexpected deposits. Then it grows. New streams of income, opportunities you never saw coming, financial doors opening effortlessly. And when it does, you won't call it luck. You won't call it chance. You'll know. It's law, and you are the voice it obeys. Say it one last time right now, with the weight of everything we've built together. Money obeys my call. Breathe it in. Let it crown you. Because this isn't just something you say. This is who you are now. Take a deep breath. Because something has shifted in you. You've spoken it. Money obeys my call. Not as a wish, not as a maybe, but as law. And here's the truth. Once spoken with authority, you can't go back. The old self, the one who begged, the one who doubted, the one who thought luck decided wealth, is gone. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You're no longer chasing opportunities like they're running away from you. From this moment forward, You are the one money obeys. Think about the tide. It doesn't decide whether to return. It doesn't debate. It doesn't hesitate. It always comes back. That's what your life becomes now. Inevitable, certain, unstoppable. When you speak, wealth doesn't drift. It doesn't crawl. It answers. It comes back the way the tide always returns to shore. And here's where the ascension happens. This isn't about repeating a line. It's about living as the one who carries authority. The one whose word bends reality. You don't walk like before. You don't think like before. You don't speak like before. You carry yourself with the quiet awareness. My voice is law. And when I call, money obeys. Picture yourself 6 months from now. You wake up and check your phone. Deposits waiting. You open your email. Opportunities you didn't chase. You step outside. Conversations flowing in your favor. And none of it feels like chance. None of it feels random. It feels inevitable. Because you've been living from a different place. You've been living as the one money obeys. Neville Goddard once said, "The world is yourself pushed out." Now you understand that more than ever. Your words, your declarations, your assumptions, all of them push outward, and the world bends. Money bends. Opportunity bends. Reality itself bends. Not because you're forcing it, but because law doesn't argue. Law obeys. And this is where it gets even bigger. It's not just money, it's relationships, it's health, it's freedom. Because the voice that commands wealth is the same voice that commands everything else. And once you realize the weight of your voice, you stop speaking carelessly. You stop muttering defeat. You stop declaring lack, because you know every word is a law, and every law is obeyed. So stand taller. Breathe deeper. Step forward with the awareness that the universe doesn't delay when you declare. It answers. It obeys. It moves. And money? It obeys your call. Say it again, but this time, let it settle in every part of you. Money obeys my call. The words aren't outside you anymore. They are you. They are the crown you wear, the current you carry, the identity you live from. And as you go forward, let that awareness sink deeper each day, until you don't even need to remind yourself, until it becomes second nature, until it feels as natural as breathing. Because that's what ascension is. When authority is no longer something you try on, but something you embody. So hear me clearly. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't wait. You call. And money obeys. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Always. If you're still here, I want to thank you. Not just for watching, but for daring to step into something most people will never even glimpse. Because the truth is, this wasn't just another video. This was the turning point. The moment your old self dissolved and the identity of authority took its place. From now on, you don't speak as someone who wishes. You don't speak as someone who hopes. You speak as law. And money obeys. That's not hype. That's not motivation. That's reality. And the longer you live inside this awareness, the more undeniable it becomes. Wealth will move towards you. Opportunities will show up without chasing. Freedom will take shape in ways you couldn't have planned. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because the law is always faithful, and your voice is law. So carry this with you after you close this video. Let it echo in your mind. Let it change how you walk, how you think, how you breathe, because you're not the same person who pressed play. You're the one money obeys. You're the one who calls, and reality answers. You're the one who finally understands that the universe was never ignoring you. It was waiting for you to speak with authority. So thank you for staying with me. Thank you for daring to hear what most people would scroll past. And thank you for stepping into your own power. This was the moment it all shifted. Don't forget it. Don't bury it. Live it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.